ICE and a Fox News contributor, and he joins us to talk a little bit more about this. Thank you for joining us, first of all.
Good morning.
So this situation, I mean, it was just really heartbreaking to hear his colleagues speak about this officer who lost his life. He was the officer, a legal immigrant who had come here, and his only desire was to serve this country once he was able to get here legally. And he's shot and killed by an illegal immigrant who comes into this country. What is your take on this? And is this just basically a poster example of why we need the wall?
Well, first of all, you know, it is a tragedy, so my thoughts and prayers go out to the officers that worked with him along with his family. It's a real tragedy. Well, look, if it's true that he's in the country illegally, we can agree on one thing. California provided him sanctuary. So let's talk about that first. California's a sanctuary state. Governor Brown's proud of that. Kevin De Leon, the state representative, pushed that policy. The California Sheriff's Association came out against it, saying that it would result in release of criminals to the streets. But when you have the Attorney General of the state of California do a news conference and threaten employers, don't work with ICE during worksite enforcement operation, when you have a sanctuary law, it's not a coincidence that California has the highest population of illegal aliens in that state. So they provide him sanctuary, first of all. As far as the wall is one tool that is needed to help defend this nation. We don't know how this person entered the country, so I can't relate him directly to the wall. But ICE arrested 138,000 criminals last year. These are people in the country illegally that were charged with another crime or convicted of another crime. So these are 138,000 people that shouldn't have been in the United States.
Yeah. And those are hard numbers. That's not hyperbole. I mean, those are facts. I did want to touch on this whole sanctuary city, sanctuary state part of it, because what will happen once this suspect is arrested and he has to go through the court system there in California?
Well, if he's in the country illegally and he's arrested and charged with murder, I mean, he'll end up in a state prison. So that decision will be down the road. Luckily, it won't be a county issue where he's going to be released by the county under such serious charges. But look, even the California state law, I think when it comes to murdering a police officer, they would be forced to work with ICE. But again, it's just like the Oakland mayor, a year and a half ago when she gave warning to over 1,000 criminals that ICE was coming. Local politicians like this, and like the sheriff of LA County, they just made an announcement he's going to physically remove ICE from his jail. I mean, when you got local officials and state officials doing what they're doing, pushing back on immigration enforcement, not cooperating with ICE, things like this are going to happen.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I've said it's going to happen, and I hate that I'm right. But it's just unless we take our laws seriously, and law enforcement works with law enforcement to defend this nation and secure our borders, unfortunately, tragedies like this is going to continue to happen.
And
whether it's Molly Tibbetts.
the tragedies are happening on both sides. We have people disappearing on their way in these caravans, these dangerous caravans, trying to get here in the first place. We have children who are dying, in these holding facilities where they're being held. They also died during the Obama administration. And then we have people, innocent people, out just trying to do their jobs, protect us, being killed on this side of the border. But yet no one's doing anything. Kirstjen Nielsen is headed to the border today. Do you think that she bears any responsibility? What can she do?
No, Kirstjen Nielsen is doing a fabulous job. She's doing everything she can. What we need to focus on is these liberal judges like the Ninth Circuit, Judge G, who says we can't detain families more than 20 days. And when you say something, in my affidavit during that lawsuit, I said if that decision was made that we can't detain families long enough to see a judge in a family residential center, if we have to release them before they see a judge, you will see a rash of family units come to this country. And guess what? I was right. Even though I was called a fear monger, I called it. Now more families are coming because they know they can't be detained. ICE has run out of family beds, so families are being released from the border right now. That just entices more people to come here illegally. And the president put a plan on the table to keep these people in Mexico. They want to claim asylum. You can claim asylum, but wait in Mexico to see a judge. That will save a lot of lives. That will keep people making this dangerous journey, putting themselves in the hand of criminal alien smuggling organizations that put themselves in harm's way. As far as these children have died the entire 34 years I've been involved in the business. It's unfortunate and it's sad, but people got to remember that until we make it clear that this country is going to enforce its immigration laws, we get Congress to close the loopholes that cause asylum, the fraud in asylum, and cause these families to come. Congress has been asked to close these loopholes too. So they should look in the mirror first before they start blaming the fine men and women of the Border Patrol who are doing everything they can.
Yeah, as it stands right now, it seems to be an incentive to bring a child. At least that's what the word is on the other side of the border, that if you bring a child, you have an easier avenue getting into the country. But we've never said, you know, we don't accept legal immigrants. And like you said, you know, do the correct process and then everything will be okay.
Well, look, Congress has had this. We went up on the Hill. I was with the Secretary. We talked about closing these loopholes about family detention, about the asylum claims. They're refusing to do it. They're refusing to build a wall. They want this to be an issue for this president, because if this president's successful in securing this border, that's a win for him. So they're putting their hatred of this president ahead of their #1 responsibility to protect this nation. And people are dying because of their inaction. So people like Nancy Pelosi, who wants to push back on all these immigration enforcement and have a common sense immigration enforcement strategy, she'd much rather, you know, take on this president and give this president a loss than to do the right thing for the American people and the illegal immigrants who are trying to make a better life for themselves.
It should make people angry. Now, as a result, we have a police officer dead and his 5-month-old child and wife left home alone. Thank you so much for joining us.